think people overrate his boxing ability, in my opinion. People think that I can't forget how.
Right now, all eyes are on Tank as he nears the final chapter of his career, having promised 3 more fights before retirement. With Ryan and Shakur as potential opponents, the big question is whether he'll take these high-stakes matchups while his stock remains high or first work on rebuilding his reputation. Either way, the boxing world is watching closely, and the pressure on Davis has never been greater. Share your thoughts below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more updates.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, he wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming in there to fight, but he did a lot better than.
According to Mayweather, Tank was deliberately using his shoulder to bump Roach in the face, but the referee either missed it or chose to ignore it, saying, "I'm ashamed of them." Tank was playing dirty, bumping Roach with his shoulder. The ref didn't see it, or maybe he decided not to see it. This sparked immediate debate, as while Tank is known for his aggressive style, many believe his frustration against Roach led him to resort to these tactics to gain an edge.
When you heard the decision.
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more.
Mayweather didn't just call out Tank's rough tactics. He also pointed to something even more alarming: the words exchanged in the ring. According to Roach, Davis told him, "They aren't going to give it to you," which Mayweather saw as a major red flag, suggesting Tank himself felt he was losing. When a fighter is clearly losing and says something like that, you know something is up, Floyd explained. This fueled further debate, with fans questioning whether Davis truly deserved the draw, or if the judges had protected him from a bigger embarrassment.
Boxing has become this thing where, you have to be undefeated for people to care about you, and that's all going to go. My son just went to that show this weekend. He said the live event was terrible. Disorganized.
You mean at Barclays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disorganized, and we're going to clean that up. We're going to make the live event.
Mayweather highlighted a crucial aspect of the fight that many were overlooking. Styles make fights. While acknowledging Tank's immense talent, he emphasized that Roach's style posed a real challenge for him. He pointed out that boxing is a game of matchups. Tank may have made it look easy against Garcia, but Roach's approach created difficulties. Praising Roach's performance, Mayweather expressed hope that he would receive the win he deserved. Though not directly accusing the decision of being corrupt, his statement strongly implied that he believed Roach had a legitimate case for victory.
That fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call it a knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you lost that unanimous.
Mayweather's reaction subtly criticized Tank's corner, hinting at the impact of Calvin Ford's absence without explicitly stating it. He suggested that a fighter's success isn't just about skill, but also the team behind them, taking a direct shot at how Davis has been managing his career. With his recent split from Leonard Ellerbe and now fighting for the first time without Ford in his corner, the changes were clearly affecting him. The timing made it even more striking. Just weeks ago, Tank was seen as a strong contender for Shakur Stevenson. But after this performance, fans are questioning his chances. Mayweather's comments only fueled the doubt. When one of boxing's biggest names openly states that you struggled against an opponent you were expected to dominate, it shifts the entire narrative. His assertion that Roach deserved the win suggests he saw something in the fight that made him question.
Never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. It just will not happen. Gervonta TankDavis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Roach again. He will not.
Floyd Mayweather has always approached boxing with a businessman's mindset, so his decision to praise Roach instead of defending Davis is significant. This is the same Mayweather who once called Tank the future of boxing. Yet now his perspective seems to have shifted. His comments almost carried an "I told you so" undertone, reinforcing the importance of discipline, the right team, and proper preparation, principles he had always stressed. Now, with Tank struggling, it appeared he was facing the consequences of not heeding that advice.
But I did enough to get the victory. Over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning that I got the skills to pay the. Yeah.
Some believe Mayweather still holds a grudge against Davis over their falling out, using moments like this to remind the world that he built Tank's career, and that without his guidance, things are unraveling. Whether true or not, his words carried significant weight. This wasn't just a casual reaction, it was a statement. By focusing on what went wrong for Tank rather than making excuses, Mayweather made it clear that he was no longer interested in protecting him.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
It's not just Floyd Mayweather criticizing Tank. His uncle, Jeff Mayweather, a seasoned boxing trainer, also weighed in on the fight's outcome and controversy. Jeff's perspective aligned with Floyd's critiques, further questioning the fight's integrity and officiating. In an interview, he specifically addressed the 9th round, when Davis unexpectedly took a knee after a jab from Roach. According to Jeff, by boxing regulations, that should have been ruled a knockdown in Roach's favor. He emphasized that since they were boxing, the rules should have applied, meaning the round should have been scored 10-8 for Roach, a decision that could have significantly influenced the final.
About that, but if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, "Oh, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner." I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, like, there's a lot of people in boxing.
Jeff Mayweather expanded on the implications of the missed knockdown call, emphasizing how officiating oversights can alter a fight's trajectory. He suggested that the referee's failure to acknowledge the knockdown not only impacted the scoring, but may have deprived Roach of a rightful victory. This echoed Floyd Mayweather's earlier remarks on the importance of fair play and the referee's role in ensuring unbiased outcomes. Jeff also raised concerns about officiating consistency in boxing, warning that subjective referee decisions could spark controversies that damage the sport's reputation and undermine fighters' efforts. His viewpoint aligned with Floyd's criticism of the referee's leniency toward Davis's alleged shoulder bumps during the fight. Now, Davis finds himself in an unusual position. The controversial draw against Lamont Roach Jr. has left the boxing world divided, with some believing Roach was robbed, while others argue Davis simply underestimated him. When it comes to a potential rematch, most expect Davis to dominate, much like Floyd Mayweather did in his 2002 rematch against Jose Luis Castillo. However, there's a key difference. Mayweather was still proving himself, while Davis is already a superstar, which changes everything.
If people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night? Or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night in Cruz. Everyone has a night. It's boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz?
Despite the controversy, Davis remains a pound-for-pound fighter, though many are eager to discredit him. Was it just an off night? Everyone has one. Mayweather had his against Castillo, just as Davis had against Cruz. However, while Mayweather's rematch was about cementing his elite status, a rematch with Roach for Davis isn't about proving anything. It's about damage control. The debates over Roach's performance, the missed knockdown call, and whispers of favoritism have already tainted Davis's reputation. The real question is whether a rematch will silence the doubts or simply give Roach another chance to do what many believe he already did: expose Tank's weaknesses.
Or I think a draw was meant to be. So I like the draw. Do you like the knee? I think like the knee though. Was that a good call on the ref? No, if you take a knee, man, if you take a knee in the 90s or in 2000, you're taking the point out. That's the bottom line.
If Davis takes the rematch, he'll be expected to win convincingly. Anything less would further damage his legacy. But rematches are risky. Just ask Anthony Joshua, who underestimated Andy Ruiz Jr. the second time and struggled against a more prepared opponent. If Davis once again takes Roach lightly, or if Roach fights with even more confidence, An upset isn't out of the question. Then there's the financial aspect. Unlike Mayweather, who had much to gain from a Castillo rematch, Davis wouldn't benefit much. Roach isn't a major draw, and the fight wouldn't be a huge pay-per-view event. The only real incentive would be silencing critics, but is that worth the risk? Mayweather, known for his sharp business sense, never took a fight unless it made financial sense. Would he have given Castillo a rematch if it didn't benefit his career? Probably not. Now Davis, often compared to Mayweather, faces a similar dilemma. If there's no major payday, why take the risk? If he skips the rematch, the logical next move would be a super fight, none bigger than a showdown with Shakur Stevenson, a battle between Davis's offensive power and one of the best defensive boxers in the game, guaranteed to generate massive buzz. The biggest obstacle to a Davis-Stevenson fight is politics. Stevenson is now aligned with Eddie Hearn and, more importantly, Turki Al-Sheikh, the driving force behind Saudi Arabia's biggest boxing events. Davis, however, has openly criticized fighters chasing Saudi money, questioning whether they truly love the sport or are just after paychecks. His reluctance to work with Al-Sheikh has made negotiations nearly impossible, and with Stevenson firmly in that camp, the fight seems more unlikely than ever. The irony is that if Davis wants the biggest fights, he may have no choice but to work with Turki Al-Sheikh, who currently controls the sport's most high-profile events. By refusing, Davis risks missing out on the biggest paydays. But if Stevenson is off the table, who else is there? Teofimo Lopez Jr. is tied up with a major Times Square fight and has a complicated relationship with the boxing world, making negotiations tough. Vasyl Lomachenko could have been a blockbuster opponent years ago, but at 37 and considering retirement, it's unclear if he'd even be motivated to fight Davis at this stage.
To Tank retiring.
He's retired? Nah, he not retiring. That's a lot of big fights to be made out there, and Tank knows that. I don't think he's gonna retire, with a lot of
Davis is a solid fighter, but not necessarily a mainstream name. Hardcore fans might appreciate certain matchups, but they wouldn't generate the level of hype Tank is used to. Take WBC junior welterweight champion Alberto Puello, for example. While winning another belt sounds great, does anyone really care about Davis fighting Puello? Probably not. This is the real issue Davis faces. If he skips the Roach rematch and refuses to work with Turki Al-Sheikh, his options for high-profile opponents are dwindling. That said, Davis isn't in danger of becoming irrelevant just yet. His name alone sells out arenas, as seen with the 19,250 fans at Capital One Arena for his fight against Roach. Even in controversy, he remains a major attraction. But that won't last forever.
Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in there.
Boxing fans are growing impatient. They want to see Davis in mega fights, not against lower-tier opponents that risk dulling the excitement around his career. Floyd Mayweather was always strategic, ensuring fans never lost interest. But Davis seems stuck. The biggest fights are tangled in politics, and the most obvious option, a Roach rematch, doesn't excite him. While Davis can still make millions fighting whoever he wants, if he truly cares about his legacy, he must make a move soon. Will he accept a fight under Al Haymon's terms to face Stevenson, surprise everyone by taking on Teofimo Lopez, or settle for an easy title grab against Puello? More intriguing than his decision is how fans will react. If he avoids the toughest challenges, will people start questioning if he's truly the best at 135 and 140? Or will his star power keep him on top regardless? One thing is clear. Davis is at a crossroads. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson wasted no time reacting to his controversial draw against Lamont Roach. Garcia, as expected, went straight to the biggest talking point, Tank taking a knee in the 9th round. He insisted it should have been ruled a knockdown, pointing out that Roach landed a clean jab, and instead of fighting back, Davis dropped to a knee and retreated to his corner. In Garcia's eyes, that was all the proof needed that Roach deserved: the win. He even took to social media to dismiss the excuse about something getting in Davis's eye. And it wasn't just Garcia. Many in the boxing community, including Terrence Crawford, agreed the moment should have been scored in Roach's favor, only adding more fuel to the fire surrounding Davis's performance.
You can get knocked out later, so I'd rather take the lead than, But I didn't really know that you can, get disqualified for when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell?
Garcia took it a step further, questioning whether Tank was truly at his best, or if something was off behind the scenes. He pointed out that Calvin Ford's absence in Tank's corner, a detail that initially went unnoticed, became a major talking point after the disappointing result. With Barry Hunter stepping in as his trainer, Davis's performance seemed uncharacteristically sluggish, and Garcia believed this was no coincidence. As fans began connecting the dots, the narrative shifted, raising doubts about whether Tank's struggles were purely due to Roach's style.
And Glenn Feldman both scored the bout. Glenn Feldman both scored the bout. 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
Boy. Garcia remained uncertain, acknowledging that Davis had performed much better in the past, and speculating that personal or trainer-related issues might have played a role in his struggles. Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson took a more calculated approach, compared to Ryan's direct criticism. Instead of claiming Roach was robbed, Stevenson emphasized that Roach had exceeded expectations. Before the fight, he had predicted Roach would go the distance, and he made sure to remind everyone that he was right, stating, "I told y'all Roach is better than people think." While he wasn't as aggressive in his critique as Garcia, his message was clear. Davis had been exposed.
You see who it is? Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
And that right there is why
Floyd Mayweather weighed in on the situation, and his comments only added to Tank's troubles. He didn't just criticize Davis's performance, he went as far as to say that Shakur Stevenson could beat him with ease. After years of promoting Tank as the future of boxing, Floyd was now openly doubting him. Some saw his remarks as honest analysis, while others believed he was strategically pushing for a fight between Davis and Stevenson. Either way, coming from someone with Mayweather's boxing expertise, it was a huge statement that carried significant weight.
Who gonna fight next? That's what I'm talking about. That's the question right there. I want to unify at 135. Me and Shakur already talked to each other, and if he's available and we can...
With Floyd essentially endorsing Shakur's skills, the potential for a fight between him and Tank just became even more intriguing. The two have been circling each other for years, but nothing has ever materialized. Now, with Davis coming off a shaky performance and Shakur searching for a high-profile opponent, the timing seems ideal. The only obstacle is Tank's reluctance to work with Turki Al-Sheikh, the Saudi boxing powerhouse now tied to Shakur, which could complicate negotiations. Still, at this point, it remains one of the biggest and most anticipated fights that could be made.
You said you reveal it. I said you reveal it afterwards. 12 rounds,
Ryan Garcia, meanwhile, is still chasing a rematch with Tank. Despite suffering a brutal knockout loss in their first fight, he hasn't stopped calling for a second chance. In his mind, Davis is no longer the same fighter who beat him, and the draw against Roach proves Tank isn't as untouchable as people once believed. With Davis running out of great options, Garcia is eager to step in, but will Tank take the risk? A rematch with Roach lacks financial appeal, and his fallout with Mayweather Promotions means he no longer benefits from favorable matchmaking. Shakur and Ryan both offer big money fights, but each comes with major risks. Facing Shakur means going up against one of the best defensive boxers in the world, while fighting Ryan could give Garcia the redemption story he's been waiting.
For a big withdrawal around maybe 30 minutes after this fight, no shot. Somebody put the house on draw, he's got like 22x like that. A draw? The mathematical anomaly to have a draw with 3 different reps across what, 11 rounds?
For now, all eyes are on Tank. He has promised 3 more fights before retirement, and both Ryan and Shakur could very well be part of that plan. The question is whether he'll take those high-stakes fights while his stock is still high, or if he'll try to rebuild his reputation first. Either way, the boxing world is watching closely, and the pressure on Davis has never been greater. What do you think? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.